The morning I pulled into the cul-de-sac of my new home, the sky was still soft with dawn. The kind of quiet where you could hear the birds before the world woke up. My new place sat at the edge of a tidy gated community called Willow Grove, with neat lawns and just enough trees to feel like you'd escaped the city. I'd spent a decade in the chaos of urban fire stations, barking orders over sirens and smoke. When the chance came to transfer to a quieter rural fire chief post, I jumped at it. A small house, a big porch, and some peace, that's all I wanted. I should have known better. I was halfway through unloading my pickup when she appeared. She marched across the street in a lime green blazer, clutching a tablet like it was a grenade. Her name, I'd learned later, was Beatrice, but in that moment, she was just the problem. "Excuse me," she called, voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You can't park that vehicle here. This is a private community. Do you even have gate access?" I set down a box of kitchen stuff and wiped my brow. "Morning," I said, keeping it polite. "I'm moving in. Bought the house at 214 Willow Lane." Her eyes narrowed, scanning me like I was a barcode that wouldn't scan. "Impossible. All residents require HOA approval, and I'd know if someone like you was cleared." "Someone like me?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "I'm a broad-shouldered guy with a trucker hat and work boots. I get it doesn't scream suburban, elite, but I wasn't here to play stereotype bingo." Beatrice tapped her tablet furiously. "I'm contacting security. This is a restricted area." I shrugged and grabbed another box. "Suit yourself, ma'am, but I've got the deed in my glove box if you want to read it." She didn't. Instead, she dialed a number, her voice rising. "Yes, security? There's an unauthorized individual at 214 Willow Lane. Immediate response, please." My phone buzzed in my pocket. I glanced at it. "Dispatch. Chief Tanner," I answered, keeping my voice steady. "Hey, boss," came the familiar drawl of my deputy. "Sam, got a call about a suspicious character at your new address." "Guessing that's you?" I chuckled, loud enough for Beatrice to hear. "Yeah, Sam. Tell security it's just the new fire chief moving in. Maybe send someone to calm the lady in green." Beatrice froze mid-dial, her tablet nearly slipping. "Who are you talking to?" she demanded. I ended the call and met her gaze. "Just my team, you know. The ones who answer when you call for help." A security SUV rolled up, and a guard stepped out, giving me a quick nod. "Chief Tanner, heard you were moving in. Everything good?" Beatrice's face went from smug to slack. "Chief, you're..." "What? Fire chief," I said, hoisting a box. "County Emergency Services. I'd invite you for coffee, but I haven't unpacked the mugs yet." The guard smirked, tipped his hat to Beatrice, and drove off. She stood there, tablet dangling, looking like someone had just canceled her favorite reality show. "This isn't over," she muttered, storming back to her house. "The whole will hear about this." "Looking forward to it," I called after her, already knowing I'd need more than a deed to win this war. That evening, the HOA meeting was held in the community center, a stuffy room with folding chairs and a flickering fluorescent light. Beatrice presided at a table up front, flanked by 2 board members, a nervous guy with a comb-over and a woman knitting what looked like a sweater for a dog. The air smelled of burnt coffee and bureaucracy. I sat in the back, sipping bad lemonade, waiting for the show. Beatrice stood, her blazer practically glowing under the lights. "We're here to address the unauthorized occupancy of 214 Willow Lane by one Ethan Tanner," she announced like she was reading a criminal indictment. I raised a hand. "That's me. And it's not unauthorized. I've got the county deed, signed and notarized. Happy to email it." The knitter looked up, curious, comb-over sighed. "Beatrice, didn't we go through this with the last new resident? The lawyer couple. That was different," Beatrice snapped. "This man hasn't submitted to our vetting process. We have standards." "Standards?" I leaned forward, like calling security on a guy unloading his couch. "I'm here to do my job, not audition for your country club." The knitter stifled a laugh. Comb-over rubbed his temples. "Beatrice, he's the fire chief. I read about him in the county paper. Coordinated the river rescue last summer. Saved 3 kids. Beatrice's face tightened, her blazer practically vibrating with indignation. "That's irrelevant. Rules are rules." I stood, keeping my voice calm but firm. Here's the deal. I bought the house. It's legal. If you want to push this, I'll bring it to the county attorney. They don't take kindly to HOA letters overstepping. We good. The room went quiet. Even the fluorescent light seemed to hold its breath. Beatrice sat down, her tablet clattering. I left my card on the table. Ethan Tanner, County Fire Chief, and walked out. For a week, things settled. Neighbors stopped by with casseroles and stories about fires I'd fought or evacuations I'd run. One guy thanked me for saving his barn during a brush fire 2 years back. I nodded, smiled, and kept unpacking. I just wanted my porch, my coffee, and no more Beatrice. But Beatrice wasn't built for peace. Late one night, my security app pinged. I checked the feed. There she was, skulking by my garage with her phone out, snapping pictures like she was on a spy mission. I sighed, expecting another pointless complaint. Then the sirens started. Two patrol cars pulled up, lights flashing. Beatrice was waving her arms, pointing at my garage. "He's storing hazardous materials," she shouted. "Propane tanks, against HOA regulations." I stepped onto my porch in sweatpants, coffee mug in hand. "Evening, officers, evening, chief," said the older cop, Maria, who'd worked with me on a dozen calls. "Propane tanks, huh?" "Camping gear," I said, "locked in a fireproof. Safe, per county code." "Want to see the permit?" Beatrice sputtered. "This is outrageous." "You're all in on it." Maria raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am, filing false reports wastes resources. You sure you want to keep this up?" Beatrice's face flushed, but she doubled down, muttering about violations and appeals. The officers took a quick look, confirmed everything was legal, and left with a warning about false calls. I turned to Beatrice. "Stop creeping around my property. Next time, I'm pressing charges." She stormed off, phone still clutched like a lifeline. The neighbors' curtains twitched. Willow Grove's gossip mill was churning. 3 days later, my radio crackled while I was fixing a fence post. "Chief, we've got a medical at the community center. Woman down, possible stroke, your closest." I dropped everything and ran. The center's parking lot was chaos, people milling, a few crying. There was Beatrice, slumped against her car, her face pale, eyes unfocused. A neighbor, Clara, was holding her hand. Panicked, she just collapsed. Clara said, "I don't know what happened." I knelt beside Beatrice, checking her pulse. Weak, erratic. "Beatrice, can you hear me?" Her eyes flickered, confused but alive. I tilted her head to keep her airway clear and radioed dispatch, ETA on the ambulance. 5 minutes, came the reply. I stayed with her, keeping her calm. "You're okay, Beatrice. Help's coming." Her hand gripped mine, frail but desperate. For the first time, she wasn't a clipboard-wielding tyrant, just a scared woman. The ambulance arrived, and the EMTs took over. As they loaded her up, Beatrice's eyes met mine. She didn't say anything, but the look said enough. I stepped back, letting them work. A week later, Clara stopped by with a note. It was from Beatrice, handwritten, shaky but clear. "Ethan, I misjudged you. You didn't have to help me. Thank you." The HOA board quietly replaced Beatrice as president. She didn't fight it. When she came home from the hospital, she started nodding at me from her porch. Small, awkward gestures. I nodded back. The neighborhood softened. People invited me to barbecues, asked about fire safety tips. I even joined the community's emergency prep committee, pushing for better first aid training and a new defibrillator at the center. Beatrice never caused trouble again. I heard she donated to the fire station's fundraiser, no name attached, but Clara let it slip. Sometimes respect isn't loud. It's a nod, a note, or a quiet change. I got my porch, my coffee, and my peace mostly. Every now and then I catch Beatrice glancing over her hedge, checking if I'm still here. I am, and so is she. And that's enough. If you've got a wild HOA story, drop it below. Like if you've ever faced a Beatrice, subscribe, because trust me, this neighborhood's got more surprises coming.